For you to kick off the morning here. It is reporting day for Caleb Williams and the Bears rookies. We think, I'll explain that in a moment, but first, Orlovsky, let's live in a world where everything works out great here with the contract, and we'll cover that in a moment. Do you think the Bears can make the playoffs in Caleb's rookie season?
Everything's got to go right for them. They can play meaningful games into December, which is a huge win for this organization. It's going to come down to three things. Number one, Keenan Allen's got to stay healthy. Number two, Rome Odunze's their top 10 wide receiver pick, got to play like a top 10 wide receiver. And then Caleb's really going to have to understand the nuance of balance in the NFL and kind of being that patient quarterback, because when you're a dynamic playmaker at any level and you're used to that style, and then teams and defenses specifically say you're not going to play that way, it's very difficult for competitive people, who Caleb is, to fall into that. And I think that's going to be where the greatest growth is going to have to come from Caleb.
Yeah, you got the quarterback, and then Odunze. There were scouts that we heard from who thought he was the best receiver in this class, ahead of Harrison and ahead of Neighbors. Obviously, all that remains to be seen. I sort of hinted at the idea that there could, like the rookies are reporting today.
Yeah.
Do we expect to see the quarterback and the star receiver there?
Look, neither Caleb Williams nor Rome Odunze has signed his contract yet.
All right. Well, we know the contract's already been signed, so we don't have to really discuss that. But in terms of kind of like what Caleb Williams needs to do and the playoffs, first I just want to emphasize that we officially probably only have 1 month left where we have to keep talking about, will the Bears make the playoffs? What will happen to Caleb Williams? Because it's just been like such a grind of figuring out, because they keep asking the same question like 5 times a day, every single day. We will finally get actual real football content, and it's just like, it is July 18th and we are so close. But listen, this is what they're talking about, so I guess I will talk about it for the 10,000th time as well. I agree. I think Caleb Williams is indeed in the best situation. I really think pretty much every quarterback who got drafted went to their ideal situation. I think the expectations for Caleb are obviously through the roof. Number 1 pick, just who Caleb Williams is as a whole. And I think him going to Chicago is a perfect place because, for a couple reasons, really. Really, first and foremost, Caleb is being seen as a savior, just as, again, this generational talent. And then now he goes to a franchise, an organization, a city that needs a savior, that needs to be rescued at the quarterback position. So when you have that, it's just mega synergy. Right? It's exactly what happened with LeBron James going to Cleveland, right? This organization has been dying for an actual legitimate star. You have this generational next level potential GOAT player at the time, right? When he's only like 17, 18. And then he goes to Cleveland, and it's just synergy. If LeBron would have always been special no matter what, obviously, right? No matter where he went. But if he got drafted to the Hawks or the Sixers, even, really, maybe like outside of any of these true iconic franchises like the Knicks or the Lakers, it would have taken away subtly. Some of his shine, some of his popularity or lore would have changed. There's a reason why LeBron went back to Cleveland and won that championship, right? Like it just mattered so much more. He became truly the chosen one. And I think that's what Caleb has to do with Chicago. If Caleb was drafted to the Commanders or even like the Giants or the Minnesota Vikings, like it just, again, he could obviously thrive, but I just think it makes it a lot more special going to Chicago. If he can bring Chicago back into relevancy, that'll be massive, right? That'll be massive, massive, massive. And I think not only so is he in the best situation from just a popularity and lore type of position, but also from a football position. I think since the expectations are through the roof for him, the fact that he actually went to a team where those expectations can actually be met matters tremendously, because we often have all-time great players going to situations where, what do you want them to do? They have a bad coach. They have no weapons. They have no offensive line. Their defense is awful. There's no run game. It's like, what are you expecting them to do? Even if Bryce Young was Caleb Williams, right, that level of talent and that level of hype, him going to the Carolina Panthers, it's like, what do you want him to do? There's nothing for him to do there. He's got nothing. It's a clown show run organization at this point where like the owner is like throwing stuff at fans. Like it's just bizarre stuff. So it's like, what do you want him to do? That's not what's happening in Chicago. Chicago kind of went through their growing pains and their issues with Justin Fields in a lot of ways, which then highlighted what they need, what they don't need, what are some of the mistakes they made, and they were able to learn. And they were able to kind of now gather all of that information. In a lot of ways, it's kind of like you dating around, honestly. Like it's kind of like you being in college, dating around, not really knowing what you're interested in, what you're like, what the type of person you want to be with. So you made all those mistakes. You're kind of a pretty bad boyfriend, but then you realize this is what I want. This is what I need to do. And then that's where Caleb comes in. And so like I think Caleb is really truly set up to have genuine success. And we've already kind of gone through all of the reasons why and the more like nitty gritty of like what it actually looks like on the field. And so I don't want to keep talking about that again and again and again. We can talk about it until we're blue in the face. He needs to establish a run game and play complementary football and not, go for the kill shot every 5 seconds and understand that a lot of football in the NFL is not magical highlight reel plays, that it is a lot of dinking and dunking. And will he have the patience and understanding to do that? And I think he will. I think it'll come in waves. I think sometimes he will get ahead of himself and sometimes he will be too conservative. Like I think it's always, trying to figure out that balance. But I really do believe Caleb will be able to do it. I think Caleb will be able to walk the walk and talk the talk at the same time. I really, really do. I'm just not seeing any reasons why he won't. And I really do feel that he has the support of, more importantly, the players on the field, right? And I don't mean like moral support. I just mean like the players around him can do the things that need to be done, right? It's not to say that the Chicago Bears are this perfect team. It's not to say that they don't have any other weaknesses, but they're in a position to support the needs of Caleb Williams. And I think it's like, well, then how can you bet against them? How can you expect them to fail? I understand that there's some mega hype around the Bears right now. You have some people saying that they're going to be able to get to the Super Bowl. Then you have some people that say that they're a bust and they're not even going to win 5 games, right? And both sides of that coin, honestly, just make me laugh. But I really do think that the Bears are going to play competitive football, meaningful games, kind of like Orlovsky was talking about, deep until December and January. And I really, really do believe they will make the playoffs. I've been very consistent on that. I've said this now pretty much from day one, and I've made many videos talking about it, is that I really do believe they will make the playoffs. I'm just not seeing any of these other side teams be better than them. I'm not seeing the Cowboys find their way into the playoffs, but not the Bears. I'm not seeing the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the Saints, like the Panthers. Like I'm just not seeing it. There's only so many good teams in the NFC, and I think that the Bears are top 7 in that regard. What they do beyond that, I have zero idea, truly zero idea. And you're gonna have to wait to see actually what this team looks like on field and how quickly Caleb feels comfortable and doing what he can do. How quickly does he learn what he can't do? To me, that's more of an indicator of what Caleb Williams will be able to accomplish this season. How quickly does he learn what he can't do in the NFL? I'm pretty confident we already know what he can do. What can he can't do? That sentence makes sense. To me, that's how we'll figure out and how successful and how quickly Caleb will find success in the NFL. And like I said in the beginning of this clip, we are so close from like actual real football content with things that actually matter. We'll actually be able to see these players doing stuff, and we'll be able to analyze it and talk about it and discuss it and compare them to other teams, rather than just this constant, endless speculation of, what will they look like? Well, we will know what they look like soon enough, and I can't wait. But those are just my thoughts. I would absolutely love to hear yours. What do you guys all think about Caleb Williams? Do you think he is indeed in the best situation? Let me know in the comments below. And what do you think the expectations are for him this season? Let me know. I read every single comment. So whether you agree with me or disagree with me, either way, let's get in some discussions. Let's get in some fights. But ultimately, let's just have some fun. And please do consider subscribing. We are building an amazing community here, and I would absolutely love to see you part of it. I want to build something that we all genuinely feel connected to. Something that we're really excited to be part of. I think we're well on our way to doing it. And please don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, as it really does help with the visibility and the algorithm. Thank you so much, and see you next time.